Hello and welcome back. Today I have another power supply and it is big. It is 19 inch. It is from the brand Philips. It is wide, so it's already from the Fluke Alliance, and it is the PM2812, and I have no idea what's wrong with it. It is huge. It is 19 inch. It has two outputs, including sense material, extra grounding. You can do the sense wires internal or external by doing the switches, and it has two power supplies. There are several models here with different power ratings, and this one is 30 volts, 10 amps by 60 watts, and the other channel exactly the same, but they have different models. Here we can already sort of see it is probably switch mode supplies, because if we look at 30 volts by 10 amps, that would be 300 watt, and it says 60 watts. So that means if we want to use 30 volts, we can only go up to 2 amps, and if we need 10 amps, then we are limited to 6 volts only. So this is purely, you find this always on switch mode power supply, and of course on electronic loads, which kind of are reversed power supplies. I think it is even more deep than it is long. It is like 42 centimeters or 16.5 inch wide. And, it's a little bit less deep, but it is almost 15 inch deep. We have some cooling holes here, and when we look in the back, clearly someone has worked on this. The wires here are loose. I think this is, yeah, I have no idea. And look at this. Okay, this is probably not coffee or cola. I think this was a refab bang. So something happened to the input filter. Maybe it's already replaced, maybe it's not, but what I'm going to do is open it first before I connect anything. And the shipper also has been a little bit tough on it. I see a big bump here. That's always difficult, shipping these heavy devices and trying to keep it properly in the box. Maybe I can bend it back, or I just leave it as it is, because you don't see it from the front. Opening it, well, I saw two screws here in the front. This is all closed, so it seems like it needs to slide out to the front. But then what about all these connectors in the front? Does that stay? Or maybe the wires just go to the back, and that's why it is unscrewed here, because it slides out, and then this stays in the bottom, and this is where it connects to the inside. So let's try that, because it's the only two screws I see aside from the feet. Oh, I see someone try to put a screwdriver in between here, but you probably just need to push it out. That would make sense. It doesn't really move. Okay, that was a good guess. It is not sliding out. This is just the whole bottom. Okay, and then we need to take these feet out. Now we know what is the sense and the power, and the switch just connects the two sense wires. It just shorts it. Yeah, makes sense. Now we probably should be able to slide it out. Yes, it is. I am upside down, I think, but it does slide fairly easily. It's so big it almost doesn't fit on my desk, But we see here probably the GPIB board. I see here some battery for memory, maybe for the last setting. Here some connectors, I'm not sure. Let's have a look at the other side. See if we can flip it over. It's not that heavy anymore. Okay. The two separate power supplies, some fans and the power supply here, and clearly someone did already testing with this. It seems also that you can add a search channel. Of course the software needs to be changed also. Here in the filter someone else clearly thought the same. Oh yeah, maybe just the filter is just broken, and this filter looks quite new to me, and this is just loose, so we can maybe connect right in here. Caps look good. We can do some measurements here on the power supply. Here it is switched from 220 or 110. I was looking for that, so the voltage is correct for this region. Maybe I just disconnect here this part and only switch on the. This seems like the internal power supply for the device itself. These on the left here are the output really for the power supply itself. So I'm not sure if it is here 50 volts or, and this only controls down to 30. First let's just see if this filter is replaced or not. Or yeah, it's very loose. Did all the brown stuff come from here? It seems more or less clean, to be honest. Well, it looks clean, maybe it is cleaned, but it smells burnt, so I decide not to trust it. I will just try to connect it directly. I have something here without the filter. I will just connect that directly to the cables. Maybe I do this with my AC load. Let me get the screw here as well. And with my AC power supply, and then I can maybe limit the current before I just blow all the fuses. So the ventilators I will keep. I think this one I will disconnect. The GPIB and the control cables for here. I think I will disconnect this one and this one. Not sure what it is. Then it is purely the power supply by itself. And then we can maybe measure here some voltages that we need, or it already will blow up, and then we need to look at this one. Instead of connecting it directly, I will be using my AC power source, and then I will just limit the current because there is no load on the power supply. And just to be sure, so 220, 50 Hertz. I said, let's do a half an amp first. That's already 100 watts. So this one here, and then I will just be switching it on and off. This one in here. Okay. Okay, smoke or smiles. Here it goes. On. Yeah, overcurrent probably. I can try a little bit more because the ventilator was running, so it probably works. It's just that let me get to half an amp. Here we go again. Yes, it starts. I hear the fans running. I don't see any scary stuff here. 7 watts, and it's just both fans probably. So the power supply seems to be going. Okay, what I want to do now is, before I just connect it, because the fans are running, so this voltage is correct. This output voltage here, or correct, at least it starts. I probably now need to measure here to see with the service manual which voltages I need, and if it's more or less within range, then I can connect it and see what happens. Talking about the fans, it looks like it's actually sucking in the back. Yeah, the speed goes up. It is sucking in the back, and that means it blows it out here to the front, or here to these holes that of course need to be closed. But usually in the 19-inch racks it actually sucks in the front and blows out in the back. So I'm a bit surprised that it works the other way around, or someone changed the fans, turned the fans around, or the positive negative voltage is the other way around. So let me check the voltage here on the fans, and I'm quite sure the airflow always goes from the front to the back, just like in servers. This is a bit weird. So the fans seem to run on 22 volts, and well, the positive is on the right side, then the fans have turned. The fan is loose also, so I think someone indeed did that. Well, we have that 22 volts on the fans, and I think that is probably correct, because otherwise they would really scream that they were going too high speed. But that the direction is the wrong way around makes no sense to me at all, and also this one should be closed to get the proper flow through this. Otherwise the flow goes like this and then nothing gets cooled really. It needs to go like this. And you want to blow out the hot air, because it will suck somewhere cold air in. So you always want to blow out. Yes, it indeed says 24 volts right there. Okay, well, let's check these voltages first. So between the brown and the orange we need to have 155 volts, and also we have here between the orange and the green, apparently we have 155 volts, and we have 18 volts between these. So let's have a look how that works. We can see that below here 24 volts on the little here, just like for the ventilators, and here we have ground and 5 volts. So we can already do little checks with that. Okay, that means here, well, I can put this here for reference. Be careful, because here is 155 volts. This also for reference right here. So we can already check the 24 volts. Be careful, because it's switch mode. I should have this one, and this one should be around 24, and it is 22, so that is okay. Then we have these two, that should be 155, and the plus on the outside. Yes, 150. A little bit lower, but it should not be a problem probably. And I should have also like this. I have, and then 18 volts with the plus out. I should have 18 volts in. Also, everything is a little bit low, but it is not crazy. Okay, and then we need 5 volts here, and then 1, 2, 3. Well, the voltages are all there. It's a little bit low, but I'm not sure if that really makes a difference or not. So I think I will just connect it. At least it was not too high. So let's just try it. Now I probably need a little bit higher. So 60 is 120. Yeah. Let me do 2 amps. 2 amps limit. Smoke or smile? Well, there was no smoke, but I'm also not sure if there was a smile. But let me see if we turn around. I switch it on again. Yeah, we hear ventilators. It says initializing. Oh, cool. It actually says something. Stand by. I tilted it something, so maybe we can read better, but the display is not that bright. It says stand by, but the fan is running. So the fan is just running all the time. So what if I put it to operate? It says fail. Yeah. Enter, standby, select 1 or select 2. VSET is to 0, let's put it to 10. The ISET, let's put it to 1. Let's do the same with the other one. Voltage to 10, amps to 1. Fail, maybe because of the sense wires. Okay, I probably need to start reading the manual now, because the error is now disappeared. I see here voltage in amps, but that's maybe because the sense wires are not reading back. So this is from operational to standby. It doesn't say error, but what I changed is couple parameter off, now couple prot on. I switched it to on, and after that there was no problem. The backlight is very soft. I didn't see a setting for that. I did see a contrast setting, and you can do 1, 2, 3, but it doesn't change the backlight. So let's connect the sense wires. Yeah, it starts initializing. I hope the backlight can be stronger. It says standby. Let me put to local. Local. My output 1. Voltage at 10 volts. 10 volts. Okay, what if I do now on? Yeah, I've read out 10 volts. Cool. Let's see with the voltage meter if it actually does. Well, I keep it like this. So voltage is to 10 volts. So if I put it now to operate, do we see 10 volts? Yes, but apparently this is channel 1 and this is channel 2. And well, it is sort of 10 volts. So it needs to be calibrated a little bit. And now the channel 2, I think I could select voltage, let's say 5 volts and 1 amp. So if I put it now to operate, oh, it was already in. Oh, it operates automatically both. Oh, that is of course the production coupled, probably. Okay, we have here the 1500 watts co-rod. That should be sufficient. Constant current. Let's put 1 amp first. Okay. Output on. We see here it's around 6 volts. I put now 1 amp. And voltage drops slightly, but it does deliver 1 amp because we are dissipating almost 6 watts. What do I see on the front of the power supply? Okay, yes, it says also here that is 1 amp. What if I just do 2 amps? Here we go, 2 amps on the electronic load. Yeah, I see 2 amps also in the display. 3 amps, 4 amps, 5 amps. Look at that, it's doing 5 volts of amps, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 amps, this is the maximum. Look at that, no problems. And if I look at the edgeland, it is exactly 6 volt also. Look at that, 6 volt. And that is at 10 amps. Now I go back to 9, 8, 5 amps. It is still 6 volt. It is super stable. 4 amps, 3 amps, 2 amps, 3 amps, 4 amps, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the voltage is rock solid. Okay, that's pretty cool. It just seems to work. The only was the input, but of course I was very careful just to check little by little the whole input voltage. So there was nothing more left, but we need to see if we can do something with the backlight. Also, I like to know if the second channel is also good. So that works perfectly still. And yeah, we have a few dots behind the 0, but that is probably we can just calibrate in the front, I'm pretty sure, because it's a programmable power supply. So if we have the correct code, we should be able to do that. For the calibration, I see I need the calibration code. And I see, as an example, they use here the 2831. And well, if you have forgotten it, you need to go to the troubleshoot. So I don't know if it is still the default, the 2831, but I read also somewhere else that the default is 2832. So let's try both. Okay, I think I tried both pin codes, the 2831 and the 2832 that were in the example of the service manual. And the service manual is also for these types, but this type is the 2812. And the first codes didn't work, so then I think, okay, just try the pin code 2812, and it worked. I'm in, it says calibration on. You push enter, and now it says VCAL low. So let's see what we need to do here. Device is off, you hold the aux button, you put the power on the device. Initializing, it says, you keep pushing. Then it says code, then we use the 2812, and probably if you have a higher model, you just type your model number. Then it says calibrate on, and I am on channel 1, I am on channel 1 here. I say enter, then it says voltage calibration low. The meter needs to be in voltage. I push enter. It says 1.91. So let's say 92. 1.919 is the closest. Enter. Then it says high voltage. Then we read 28.914, and then it goes to current. But there is no timeout, so that is my 7, 8. Nah, that would be A2 then. Okay, then we have the over voltage calibrate. Then you need to remove everything. And measuring high, saving off, then you say on, it says saving, it says completed, then I press enter, then I'm still in calibrate on because I want to calibrate the second channel. But you can also now say off. Voltage, do 5 volts, enter, and operate. Do we have 5 volt? Look at that, 49992. That is 5 volt. What about 10 volts? 10 volts it is. What about 20? Look at that, 20 it is. And 30 volts. That is 30 volt. Look at that. Okay, pretty cool. Even the calibration procedure still worked. For the over voltage, you really need to remember to pull your plugs, because if you not, then it disturbs the measurement and it will fail and you need to do it all over again. So you need to do it the first time right. That's the only thing I found out, because it says error and then you're kind of stuck. But then you just start all over. The saving takes really 10 seconds almost, and then you're waiting. But in the end, it stores the values. The only thing is now that, of course, there is no filter anymore in the back, and that's why I missed also my power switch, because in this burnt filter was also a switch right there. So this was really the only problem, and the calibration was only slightly off. So that was a super simple fix. And yeah, the only thing I like the power switch to be in the front also. After a good clean, it looks so much better. Look at that. Buttons back to white. The lettering, everything is well readable again. And these are very nice clamps. It's sort of with a spring, and it's all back to its shine. And the power switch right here. It's not original. I prefer the square one, but this is what I have. And at least I don't need to reach to the back now. That's it. It all looked very nice. Once I put it back together and I cleaned it, suddenly I had an error again on one of the channels, and it was over voltage. And I noticed before that it was already very sensitive in the calibration process. So maybe that is just because I'm not using the filter, and maybe because the wires are both in the bottom, that it is somehow radiating or induction to the cables, that's why it is a little bit sensitive. Or it is now running from the original power instead of from the very clean power from the matrix power supply. So I need to look into that, why it sometimes have the over voltage while I didn't set it. So hopefully I find it out. But at least one channel is working perfectly fine now. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.